I think it's time for us to move on to the next set of if statement programs. For example, the nested if statements and the switch case statements. Let's see some programs on these two. This is an example of a nested if program. Does it look very big? Not at all. It's just a simple program. After all, the program constructs are very less. So let's go through it. In this program, we have taken 5 marks, M1, M2, M3, M4 and M5, and the TOT stands for the total of all the marks, and the average, which will be a float value, is also been taken over here, and of course the buffered reader for taking the input of all the 5 marks, and the wrapper class integer.parse for converting M1 into an integer, M2, M3, M4. So all these are converted into an integer, and the total of all the 5 marks and the average of the 5 marks are taken, and these marks are printed as student details. Now comes the main part. We check in the first if statement if all the marks, that is M1, M2, M3, M4 and M5, if they are above 35, because the minimum pass mark is 35. If a student gets more than 35 in all the subjects, then it goes into the loop, because the ampersand is the conditional and that we are seeing. So all the conditions should be fulfilled. If all the conditions are fulfilled, then it goes into the braces where we have this if statement. So if the average is above 90 and the average is less than equal to 100, then the student gets an A grade. Similarly, if it's more than 80 and less than 90, he gets an A grade. If it's more than 70 and his marks less than 80, then he gets a B grade, else he gets a C grade, which means if he gets less than 70, then he gets a C grade. Now there is also another part. We close this program here, and the else part comes out of the first if condition. We say this else part belongs to the first if part, which says if all the marks are above 35, only then it will go in, else it will go to this part. Even if one mark is less than 35, then it will not give a grade. Instead, it will simply print failed. So no grades will be given to the student, only the message that the student has failed will be shown on the screen. Now shall we just run this program? I first compile this program. Yes. Now we'll run this program. It's asking me to enter 5 marks. Oh, shall we give good marks for the student? After all, we are not the teachers, right? So let's give him 98, 97. Poor chap. Let him get some good marks. I've entered 5 marks. I press enter. You see the student details are printed over here. Mark 1, Mark 2, Mark 3, Mark 4, Mark 5, the total and the average. Since all the marks are above 35, the grade has been given as A plus grade. Now let me run this program once again, and I'll give marks, like say I'll give 45, which is above 35, 65, which is also above 35, 42 above 35, 35, and I'll give 32. Now see what happens. The marks are there, the average is there, but he has not got a grade, because since he's got only 32, he is considered to be fail. So this is how a nested if statement will work on your program. Shall we go to the next program to see a switch case? Yes. Now this is an example of a switch case statement. Once again, I have taken the data input stream method to get the inputs, and we have two integers a and b. So these two integers are taken, and we are going to do some operations on these two operands. Then after getting the input, I simply print a message, enter only plus, minus or the multiplication symbol for choice, and the choice will be read as a character. Now I go into the switch case, and the switch is the choice variable that I have typed over here as a character. So this will be the choice. The choice will be, the first will be case A under the variable choice, the case plus, and in that I write system out.println add a plus b, and in the second case, which is a minus, I type it as the difference, and instead of saying add, I can even write sum. And the third case, which is the multiplication symbol, I'll simply write here as the product of two numbers, and you can see I've actually passed the results in these braces. If the user gives any other values other than these three values of plus, minus and star, then it will go to the default case, which will simply print invalid choice. Shall we run this program? Come, let's run this program. I'll type java csw.java. This is a warning because it comes under a note. Since we have used the data input stream, we get that we are using a deprecated API. No issues, we'll just run the program. I'll type java sw, and it's asking me for two values for a and b. I type 56 and I type 45. Now comes the switch case. It's asking the symbol. Now whatever symbol I pass will go into the switch choice variable, and that variable will call the method and you'll get the answer. Now I simply press a plus and I enter. It says the addition of 56 and 45 is 101. So this is how we run a program for a switch case. I think we've seen a lot of programs on if and if else. I think it's only right that you do a homework. I'll give you a simple program to write. Suppose you go to a pizza shop to buy pizzas for a party. There are 10 people in your party, so you have to provide 10 pizzas. You go to the pizza shop and the menu card reads as that the cheese pizza is 250, the chicken pizza is 400, and the pizza of the day is rupees 600. Maybe you decide to buy any one of these for the party. So you need to write a program to generate a bill for the pizzas that you bought. So the program should read as, if it's cheese pizza, then it's 250. If it's a chicken pizza, it's rupees 400. Else, if the pizza is rupees 600, if the pizza is pizza of the day, then the amount is 600. Just take this as a challenge. Try to write a program and see if it's right through your compiler. So till such time we meet again, it's bye and thank you.